Geeks? Adam here, coming at you with another Wizard Magazine and 90s Comics Haul video, because it hasn't been raining around here. It's been pouring. We've been getting some great stuff coming into the archives here at Wizards HQ. So let me show you some of the fun stuff that we have here for Wizard Magazines. Then we're going to get into some really fun comics. But first up here, Poster Mania 98, guys. These Poster Mania books go for crazy money. I was able to get a good deal on this one, though. I can be patient, you know? But just check out the art there. They give you some previews here on the other art that is inside. But this one, I mean, it's just like you flip through it, and it's just Marvel, DC, Image, it's everybody. But what's interesting is that it's actually like the posters. A lot of them are Wizard covers or ones that were inserts in Wizard, like they would come packed in the poly bag. So it's a real great use of that original art that they were getting. Then we have this one here. This is a special issue here. This is Comics We Want to See, which basically what they're saying is the lead story here is all of these movies and TV shows, we think they should be turned into comic books. I think that's a really odd story, but look at that banner at the top. HeroClix. Yes, they really wanted you to care about HeroClix here. There was an exclusive Superman HeroClix offer. There's also some cool stuff in the poly bag when we get down the line here. This is from 2002, so got a ways to go yet. But then we also have this issue here, which cracked me up. So this is A Decade of Darkness. So this is after 10 years. We're just now in our timeline where the darkness was premiering and was becoming a thing in comics. But the best part about this, check this out right there. And why this man can't have sex. In all my years before I read some Darkness comics to prepare for the show, I had no idea that that was the premise. that having sex was going to mess up his whole power set. So anyway, that was just really interesting. So that's what we have for Wizard. Now, we are on the Retro Network, Wizards, the podcast guide to comics. We are on TRN, and as a result, we are hooked up with a lot of cool people that enjoy looking back, getting nostalgic, have held on to a lot of their goodies from yesteryear. One of those TRN VIPs, they have the VIP lounge. If you join their Patreon at like the $5 level, you could like actually get access to, in addition to extra shows and things like that, just this ongoing conversation, which is really fun. I love being a part of it. But Gary on the Retro Network forums there, he sent me this list. And this list is all of his comics that he has, like thousands of comics in his collection that he has cataloged. And he said, you love 90s comics. They're just taking up space. How would you like to have some of these comics? Go through the list. Tell me what you need. I'll send them to you. Send them to me. Free of charge, guys. Like this guy is awesome. So I was like, Gary, I can't pass up that offer. So I'm going to show you some fun stuff here that really caught my eye. So first thing is that when I saw the list that caught my eye was the War of the Gods. Now this is the first major like crossover event comic that I was purchasing on my own. And Gary was buying it too back in the day. He doesn't have every issue, but he has a lot of them. And I lost mine years ago. I don't know what happened. So this is very cool because he also has in here the checklist card that came from the actual comic book store to find out what was going to be released. So that was issue 1. This is issue 4. So I need to pick up issues 2 and 3 in some back issue bin somewhere. But then there were all the tie-in issues, okay? So there's the Wonder Woman tie-in issue. Here we have Superman, the Man of Steel. But it's all these War of the Gods. Basically, they were facing off with these Greek gods. There's a Hawk World crossover. A lot of these I didn't know about. I had a few of them back in the day, like this Starman issue. For whatever reason, I didn't read Starman, but I bought this. I thought that was a cool image. I think it was just the artwork that really caught my eye. I had this as well because Lobo faced off against Captain Marvel, and it's like this painted look. Is that Dan Brereton? I think it is, actually. That's Dan Brereton art. How about that? We just did a post about him on social media today. Hawk and Dove? Okay. Still going strong at that point. What else we got here? Oh, Dr. Fate before the Fate phase. You know, the 90s extreme makeover. I definitely had this one as well. This Flash deal here. Had this Batman, okay, because anything Batman and Tim Drake Robin at this point in time, I was going to pick up. Now, another Hawk World tie-in, that's what I thought was interesting, is some of these titles had more than one crossover or, tie-in issue that was with War of the Gods. Animal Man, I also had this back in the day, and I do not know why. I did not read Animal Man. That was not on my list. Captain Atom, okay, so there's an interesting one. I mean, there was just so many. This was huge. Suicide Squad with Black Adam? Okay, now I'm intrigued. I mean, that's just interesting. Now, if you've listened to the podcast long enough, you know I am also a big fan of The Ray, especially when Joe Quesada was the artist on the early miniseries. And so, of course, when I saw that on the list, hey, I got to pick this up. I have my copy. It's signed by Joe Quesada, but it's a little beaten and battered. So to get a clean copy of it was nice. I actually have the trade of it too, of this miniseries, but I didn't have all the single issues. So now to have all of these in my possession was super awesome. So Gary, thank you for that, because again, just super nostalgic thrill for me to have these issues. Look at this one. That's just classic Quesada right there. Look at that. I love it. Love it. And then here's the last issue of that. Okay. Now, I'm also a big Kiss fan, okay? And I have like the original Kiss comic, the Marvel Super Special from the 70s that was printed in Kiss blood. They actually poured their blood in the ink vats at the printing plant. My nephew actually found that for me years back and gave it to me for my birthday. I have like the full run of the McFarlane Psycho Circus series from the late 90s. I have, the Kiss Nation special that Marvel put out in the during the reunion tour era. But now I also have this. Ooh, the Rock and Roll Comics Kiss biography. If you don't remember Rock and Roll Comics, they were kind of unauthorized biographies of various rock stars, but they sold well. But also this one here, which is different, right? This is what is from Personality Comics, but Kiss was a popular subject. So I'm so excited to have those now because, again, as a Kiss fan, I just to understand other people's understanding of Kiss, because when you've read as many books and done as many deep dives as I have, you're like, okay, well, you sort of got it, but not quite. It's just like you with your favorite comic book characters, I'm sure. The next one here is another one I already have a copy of, but this is technically the first appearance of Spider-Man 2099. So many of us bought these hologram covers, right? But at the bottom, it gives you a preview of the first few pages of Spider-Man 2099. And with his appearance coming up, in the new Across the Spider-Verse film, I'm getting very excited because I have a full run of that series because I loved it so much. I got the action figures. So just to have another copy of that is always good because, again, mine's older. I've had it for a while. Now, also some Alf comics. Alf is also one of the earliest comics I ever picked up off a spinner rack. And so this is so fun that this is with the ex-Melmen, because Alf is from Melmac. I mean, that's just funny. I mean, Marvel knew how to do the parodies there. And then just a standard issue of Alf here. But I really have a soft spot in my heart for Alf. But also, with the origin of Wolverina. But also, I love this little She-Hulk thing here. She-Hulk goes on a diet. I'm not that fat. I was like, what? Whoever said She-Hulk was fat. But in this, they call her She-Bulk, and the bulk instead of the Hulk, in the What the universe. So, other one here that was really fun is RoboCop. This is actually the final issue of the Marvel Comics RoboCop series. I have the first issue, and it wasn't like Gary, he didn't have a full run or anything, so I was like, are you willing to give that up? He's like, sure, because I was like, the bookends, and then I'll fill it in between someday in some back issue bins, but I'm curious to know from the beginning to the end how they did that. Now, this is the last thing in this haul. This caught my eye because there is a movie from the 90s starring Brad Pitt. It was not very good by most people's standards as far as is it going to make sense, but it also starred Kim Basinger as Hollywood in Cool World, and DC Comics did a 3-issue adaptation of this. I had no idea about that, but I'm so curious to find out if this is just a shot-for-shot adaptation, or is there some extra deleted scenes in there? Is there something that's going to help the movie make more sense? Because it is very related to the world of comics. In fact, in that film, if you've never seen it, the artist who is in prison was a comic book artist. He created Cool World, and there's scenes that take place in a 90s comic book store. There's a mural outside that has DC characters and stuff spray painted on it. So if you've never seen it, check it out for that factor at least. So anyway, just a very fun haul here. And again, Gary, super thumbs up to you. Thank you for being so generous. Thank you for being willing to share that, because, man, I mean, like, so many of those are just warming my heart. They're not necessarily in our timeline for the show, but they're super awesome, just for the pieces of history. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure you're subscribed here on Wizards Podcast YouTube channel. Go on over to TRN, the Retro Network, as well. And maybe you want to become a VIP. And hey, maybe you can make some trades or make some cool friends that want to send you stuff. So, in the meantime, keep your books bagged and boarded.